This is Jake Pazicki, and this is an ACT Science conflicting viewpoints question. Now, this question is one of the tougher kinds of questions you'll see in this section, and it's asking you how one scientist, in this case scientist 1, would respond or argue about an opinion or a theory presented by scientist 2. In this case, the theory is that is about the way that the differences among eukaryotic and prokaryotic organisms discussed by scientists 2. So in this question, what we're going to have to do is first we're going to have to look and see what are the differences discussed about eukaryotic and prokaryotic organisms discussed by scientists 2. And then we'll have to look into scientist 1's argument to see sort of how he or she would respond to that. So first, let's see, what does scientist 2 say about the differences among eukaryotic and prokaryotic organisms? So for reading here, so we can see that living things have previously been divided into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. New comparisons of the ribosomal RNA of bacteria have led to further division of the prokaryotes into archaebacteria and eubacteria. These two groups are as genetically distinct from one another as they are from the eukaryotes. Thus, living cells evolved from a minimum of 3 progenotes. I see progenotes. I'm not really sure what that word means. Usually, if you see a word that you're not sure what it means, they'll define it for you. And I actually see here, oh, they did. They defined progenote, which is a universal common ancestor. Okay, so they're saying that all living things, eukaryotes, prokaryotes, well, actually, they're saying that all living things evolved from 3 universal common ancestors. One which are the eukaryotes, and then these 2 groups of prokaryotes, which are archaebacteria and eubacteria. So 3 common ancestors. Okay, so that's the opinion of scientist 2. So now how would scientist 1 respond to that? Let's look at the answer choices here. That the evolution of eukaryotes and prokaryotes from 2 separate ancestors. So let's see what scientist 1 says. According to evolution, all species shared a common single ancestor. Single-celled creatures evolved into multicellular organisms and later into higher-order species of mammals. This evolutionary theory was originally proposed by Darwin and was based upon comparisons of animal behavior and appearance, especially bone structure. And we see here some molecular biology has provided additional evidence for this hypothesis that all creatures evolved from a common single-celled ancestor. Looking at DNA, RNA, show sequences between humans and apes, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, well, actually, we can see here, even in some cases, genetic homology is the same between human, dog, mouse, bird, and even fly genes. So, this answer choice A, that evolution from eukaryotes and prokaryotes was from 2 separate ancestors, doesn't seem like that's what scientist 1 would say, because he or she seems to be arguing this common single-cell ancestor. We see that in both paragraphs of their argument. So the 2 separate ancestors is not the theory they are pushing. Answer choice B, evolution of eukaryotes, archaebacteria, and eubacteria from 3 separate ancestors. Similarly, we see they think that there's 1 common ancestor, so that's not wrong. That's not right. Non-evolutionary influences. Well, it says it's talking about how single-cell creatures evolved into multicellular organisms. And the scientist is talking about the theory of evolution, so it doesn't seem that that's a likely answer. And the last answer choice says evolution and genetic diversification from a single, more ancient common ancestor. That seems to be what scientist 1 is pushing, right? Scientist 2 is arguing there are multiple common ancestors. Scientist 1 saying, hey, nope, it's coming from 1 common single-cell ancestor, and we see that here and here. So this would likely be how scientist 1 responds to the argument of scientist 2. The answer choice is D.